presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
The following is an exclusive presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
4 finalists, symbols of college football excellence. Soon, one will carry the title Heisman winner with each future step.
Close your eyes now and listen to your heart call, and the echo within will call my name, seeking you now and wishing you were at my side.
The holiday energy of New York City with a little extra current flowing through the Big Apple this evening. Within sight of Lady Liberty, standing guard in New York Harbor, our focus is squarely on another famous statue. We're coming to you from the shadow of the World Trade Center's Twin Towers on the southern tip of Manhattan at the respected home of the Heisman Trophy, the Downtown Athletic Club. Up on the 13th floor, the regal setting of the portrait room. Folks here have scored some of the toughest tickets in sports every year. We are extremely proud you could join us on ESPN for the announcement of the 63rd Heisman Trophy winner presented by Wendy's. Very soon, this famous fraternity will have a brand new member, and soon a new portrait will hang alongside Blanchard and Davis, Griffin and Dorsett. On the base of the classic bronze stiff-arm runner, a new name will be engraved, and 1997 will forever be known as his Heisman year. Now, the next hour here is a fun one. It's a salute to the seasons of all 4 Heisman finalists. They are Ryan Leaf, the tough guy junior quarterback from Washington State, led the Cougars to their first Rose Bowl in 7 decades. Peyton Manning, the lone senior here who celebrated finals season at Tennessee, produced more records, but more importantly, an SEC title. Charles Woodson, the driving force behind the nation's best defense, Michigan junior with phenomenal flair as a 3-way impact player. And Randy Moss, the sophomore receiver coming off a history-making season at Marshall, an unheard-of dominance at his position. The 97 Heisman Trophy finalists. They're all here as individuals tonight, but all of them will tell you they represent teammates and coaches and loved ones who've helped them become what they are, the best in college football. They are not here because they focused on or lobbied for awards. All of them did their talking on the field and made those around them better. Each of their teams won at least 10 games, won a conference championship. Combined, they were 42-4. Many Heisman winners held on to their ballots until the last minute. They said this was their toughest decisions ever. A good percentage held on to them until after the conference championship games. That's a similar percentage to last year's voting. Now, with some insight on the key aspects of the Heisman electorate, 870 media types, and the 51 living former Heisman winners, here's Mike Adamle. Mike?
Well, Chris, to summarize the Heisman balloting, the nation is divided into 6 regions: the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, the Midwest, the South, the Southwest, and the Far West. Now, voters in each region must select 3 players on their ballot. The first choice receives 3 points, the second choice 2 points, 1 point for the third place vote. The point system was adopted to eliminate any regional bias. Now, once the ballots are received, they are then tallied by the accounting firm of Deloitte and Touche. And the player who receives the most points, not the most first-place votes, receives the Heisman Trophy. Chris, and I think it's fair to say that in Heisman races that have been very close or where there has been a lot of indecision, those second and third place votes have been very, very critical.
Well, I agree, and also regional factors. Last year, recall, Danny Werfel and Troy Davis split the 6 regions. This year's Final Four has a little bit of a different feel to it. A predominantly defensive player, a pure sophomore receiver from a school in its first year of Division 1A football. Plus, for only the third time in 63 years, we don't have a running back. A cause of concern for the guys from the glory days. What happened? Archie, Tony, Mike Rozier, 73 to 83, 11 straight Heisman trophies went to running backs. Up next, we'll visit with the first of the 4 finalists. Until now, no player for the Mid-American Conference had finished higher than 8th in a Heisman vote. But then Randy Moss has made a lot of us rethink what's possible at the 1A level. We'll visit with the 25-touchdown man when we come back on Heisman Night 97.
It's everyone's favorite time of the year.
Have some holiday cheer.
With everyone's favorite crew. Craig.
What the hell you doing in my house?
Day-Day.
It ain't your booty, it's your beauty.
Willie.
You're taking care of business in here. I'm at the governor.
Chico. The landlady.
Somebody getting tossed tonight.
And introducing Money Mike.
Let me check my Palm Pilot. Look like I ain't doing it.
Friday after next. Rated R. Starts November 22nd.
Introducing Domino's Pizza Buffalo Chicken Kickers. Tender cuts of all-white chicken breast with a kick of spicy buffalo flavor baked through and through. 10 pieces for $5.99. Get the door and get a kick out of dinner tonight. Get an order of Cinesticks free when you buy a large one-topping pizza for $9.99.
She got on that plane to Nova Scotia, and I haven't seen her since.
She sounds great, Trey. What about you, Cliff? Who was your first love?
I met her at a demolition derby. Her name was Jacqueline. We were standing in line at the cotton candy stand.
Ooh, best solid gold dancer. That's a toughie.
Dr. Pepper, Mr. Pip.
Dr. Pip. How about you, McDice?
Fanta.
You're wrong, Trey. The Sandman and the Boogeyman are not the same guy.
I don't know, it might be weird, but I like airplane food.
How come men have nipples?
I ran up the stairs, locked the door, cried for 2 hours. And I've been afraid of ponies ever since.
It's a good story. Welcome back to New York City on Heisman Night 97. You know, every defense that faced the Thundering Herd had the same Marshall plan, the same pregame mantra, no Moss, no Moss. 60 minutes later, they were saying no Moss. The touchdown-making talent of Randy Moss was like a force of nature. You could plan for it, you could prepare for it, but you could not prevent it.
Whenever he stepped on the field, Randy Moss was boss, a transcendent talent, so effortlessly dominant, he seemed to be thirsting for a greater challenge. The height and hands of a classic possession receiver, but the speed to score from any spot. Marshall teammates say just knowing that Randy was on their side gave them faith and confidence as they moved up to Division 1A. And in the MAC championship game, Moss was the difference, taking over the snowy second half with a trio of touchdowns. From day one, Double 8 drew double teams constantly, but consistently beat them for touchdowns in an NCAA record 27 straight games. He caught 90 passes, but still averaged more than 18 yards per, and scored from beyond 70 yards 5 times. Only Jerry Rice accounted for more touchdown receptions than Randy's 25 this season, and his freshman total of 19 touchdowns also ranks in the all-time top 5.
Randy's 2 seasons at Marshall produced a national championship in Division 1A, then a MAC championship, a bowl bid, the most wins ever by a program moving up to 1A, and a 25-2 record. Lee is with one guy who's sure glad he got to Marshall the same year as Mr. Moss.
Yes, and that's Bobby Pruitt, the head football coach at Marshall. Bobby, you've coached a long time. How does Randy compare with some of the players that you've coached and even some of the players you coached against?
He's the most phenomenal athlete I've ever been around. He's 6'5", 210 pounds, runs 4.25. He's got a vertical leap of 40 inches. He's got great hands. He can make you miss when you catch the ball. He's just great.
You know, some people question the competition level that Randy faced. How do you answer that statement?
Well, you know, he's always been the best in any level he's ever played on, high school through college. And he can't account for who's playing against him. He just goes out and makes plays.
How has Randy's presence helped the other players at Marshall?
Well, I think he's raised their level of expectation, their level of performance, because they see the things that he can do. They nicknamed him the Freak because he does so many freakish things on the field. He's just outstanding.
Well, Bobby Pruitt, congratulations on a great season. Good luck at the Motor City Bowl. Chris?
Bobby was telling us the story last night. Randy's freshman season got talked into running track, went to the Southern Conference indoor meet, won the 200 meters in a 21.15, one of the fastest college times in the country on 1 day's practice. He's back with Kirk.
All right, Chris, thanks a lot. As you mentioned, I'm with Randy now, and Randy, obviously an incredible year this year. And looking back throughout your whole career, since you got out of high school, is it a big night just to be here, the fact that considering all these obstacles that you've had to overcome?
Oh, yeah. Being up here in New York is, I'm fortunate and blessed to be up here chilling with Leaf, Manning, and Woodson. It's been great. So we're just up here just having fun.
I know throughout your life, your mother has been a huge influence on you. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that for us.
Well, I think just my mom just being raised by a single parent with two other in the family. I think I just owe all the credit to her, and with her prayers and you know, just guidance throughout the years just got me here today.
Chris, this is incredible. He averaged 2 touchdowns a game for the entire season. You mentioned the double coverage. Did you look at that as a welcoming challenge, or did it become frustrating to you?
I think it's more of a challenge. I think if you see double and triple coverage and you still can find some way to score, then you're out there doing your job. So I think that's what I try to do, is get out there and score and do my job.
I know you don't like to get caught up on what level of competition, but it's got to feel good knowing in your mind, and you talk to players such as Ryan and Peyton and Charles, you know you can get it done at any level in your mind, I would think.
I feel that I'm just a ball player. You know, I'm not a cocky ball player, but I just go out there and do what, you know, what's expected of me. So if it's the block to spring the running back, I'll do that. If it's catch the ball in the end zone, I'll do that. So I'm just there to do what I'm expected to do.
You had a great year. Congratulations. Good luck tonight.
All right.
All right, Chris?
Well, it's kind of hard to express what it means to a program like Marshall until the last couple of years, basically best known for a tragic plane crash back in 1970. Now to have Randy Moss here, a West Virginia native to boot. Randy had more catches for more yards and more touchdowns than any of the 3 receivers who won the Heisman Trophy. Sorry, Johnny Rodgers, Tim Brown, Desmond, Moss has got you. Maybe we can settle a running discussion all week. We'll clear out these chairs. We'll have our 2 quarterbacks exchange reps here. We'll see if Charles can cover Randy Moss one-on-one. That's the matchup everybody in the country wants to see. We're going to visit with Michigan's defensive glove, who's had a hand in just about everything the Wolverines do. When we come back on Heisman night, he would be the 3rd Michigan man to win the Heisman, following Tom Harmon in 1940 and 1991's Desmond Howard. Who can forget when he struck the pose? We're coming back.
College rivalries as fierce as North versus South, as heated as the Hatfields and the McCoys. ESPN Classic's got a week of these here epic matchups. Teams that make each other so darn mad, they fight a civil war every year. South Carolina Clemson, UCLA USC, Texas A&M Texas, Alabama Auburn, Michigan Ohio State. Shoot, the Hatfields and the McCoys weren't nothing compared to this. Rivalry Week. The feud starts Monday at 9 Eastern on ESPN Classic.
The legend of the Mummy, the destiny of the Scorpion King. Dish On Demand pay-per-view presents the Mummy Scorpion King double feature. Watch an all-day Dish ticket presentation of the Mummy and the Scorpion King for only $4.99. November 15th through November 30th on Channel 508. Order by remote or by calling 1-877-DISH-PPV. Order the Mummy Scorpion King double feature today, only on Dish On Demand pay-per-view. The Mummy, The Rock. You don't want to miss this.
Vernon, we've been seeing each other for 5 years now. I need to know, should we keep things the same, see other people, break up, or get married?
Can I phone a friend?
The game that made lifelines a part of everyday life is back with host Meredith Vieira.
Check your local TV listings for time, channel, and availability.
Honey, sweetie.
Call me. Here he is on the best football team in the country, the best defense in the country, and he's far and away the best player. Nobody would ever have to apologize for voting for Charles Woodson.
A Michigan man showing his true maize and blue loyalty. There's another group of folks who have closely watched Charles Woodson's Heisman run. The defensive players, anybody who's ever tried to tackle one of the offensive glamour boys in his career, well documented that no player who plays predominantly on defense has ever won this award. Now, a couple of them have come close, of course. Hugh Green of Pittsburgh back in 1980. He was a one-man wrecking crew, dominating from the linebacker position. He was the runner-up to George Rogers. He's been the benchmark for defensive players. He had 197 first-place votes back in 1980. Holy Cross's two-way crusader Gordy Lockbaum dazzled Heisman voters enough to secure his second top-5 finish, a third to Tim Brown in '87. As one defensive finalist, Warren Sapp, pointed out in this room a couple of years ago, that Heisman Trophy does have a football in his hand, but then Charles Woodson's had a football in his hand occasionally this year, and when he has done plenty with it. Something that confused the Michigan coaches. Charles came to Michigan wanting to play defense. Secondary coach Vance Bedford said he couldn't understand why when he watched his first drill as a cornerback. He thought there's no way this kid is ever going to make it. 4 months later, he was going man-on-man against the top receiver in the country, Terry Glenn of Ohio State, as a true freshman and making 2 interceptions. Number 2 had arrived.
The man with a rare flair, a triple threat of astounding talents. First denying big plays, then delivering them.
Hey, I make plays, that's all I do. They do all the talking, I do the walking, baby.
Scraping the sky to swipe a pass or slicing through a defense to snare one. Charles Woodson conjured moments that seized momentum for the maize and blue in a few well-chosen seconds, but burned into our memories forever. With the Buckeyes in the Big House and the Rose Bowl in the balance, it was Woodson's individual brilliance that propelled Michigan to Pasadena. Receivers found getting loose against the deuce almost impossible, and calling him out imprudent. Direct challenges to Woodson's side were rare, but he still picked off 7 passes, second most in 1A. Against Charles and company, receivers rarely ran far, averaging under 9 yards per completion, a new all-time low. Quality, not quantity, defined his offensive impact, averaging more than 18 yards per touch and scoring touchdowns as a receiver, runner, and returner.
During the sleepy summertime in Ann Arbor, the guy who was running the stairs in the Big House all the time, getting ready for this season and for triple duty, is back now with Kirk.
All right, Chris, as you mentioned with Charles, and Charles, there's been so much talk this year about getting it done on both sides of the ball. It used to be in college football, this was the norm. Starting to get back into that a little bit now in the 90s. What's the most difficult thing in the 90s playing on both sides of the ball?
Well, I think the most difficult thing is just being in great condition, and that's why I work so hard in the summer. Running those tough steps in Michigan Stadium, just trying to stay fit, basically. Being able to play all those plays, you have to do that.
For a lot of players out there, their first few steps of stardom maybe begins at the Pee Wee level out in the football field. For you, it was, I guess, in the living room with your older brother. I know you're very appreciative of those times and him spending a lot of time with you as you guys were growing up.
Oh, yeah, I needed that. My mother wasn't there all the time because she worked a lot, worked those hard hours, 12 hours a day. So I needed somebody at home with guidance. And me and my brother used to get together in the front living room and just go at it. I used to try to beat him, and he never took it easy on me. And I think that's what helped me develop into the type of player that I am today.
It seems like when kids grow up when they're younger, they want to be a quarterback, they want to be a running back, a receiver. But now in college football, there's such a premium of good, top-notch corners, and the style of defense is a lot of man coverage. So corners like you are being more showcased. Do you think kids now, after tonight, are going to grow up wanting to be the next number 2, Charles Woodson?
Well, I'm not sure they'll want to be me, but I just think with the type of game that I play, trying to do so much for the team, players will just see that and know that, if they work hard, they can be anything they want to be. Play both ways in football or basketball or whatever. All I want to do is go out there and show them that I work hard, and hopefully they'll follow that.
You nervous or excited?
I'm excited. I'm having fun.
You guys beat Duke today in basketball. Maybe that's an omen.
Oh, yeah. I want to say what's up to that Michigan basketball team. I see they pulled it through, so I'm going to try to bring home a Heisman for you guys, hopefully.
All right, buddy. Good luck.
Right.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Chris.
None of these guys say they're nervous. They're all big game players. Charles admitted last night to me, he and Terry broke a whole bunch of couches in that living room in the apartment growing up. You can add broken couches, broken lamps to the already impressive list of Charles Woodson's statistics. It's tough to kind of quantify the impact of a corner. You might have to factor in the tackles that a safety can make because it doesn't have to help out on a receiver. Different types of stats to compare. That's what made this Heisman race very interesting. Now back to those broken couches and the woman who had to pay for them and the woman who had to try to cover Charles Woodson in the young years. She's with Mike.
Well, Chris, to paraphrase, behind every great football player, there is a nurturing, caring mom, a woman who has to wear a lot of hats, from disciplinarian to cheerleader. Georgia Woodson, one such woman. Georgia, when did you begin to realize that Charles had some special talent, that both had the mental and physical wherewithal to not only win a scholarship to a major school like Michigan, but also become a college All-American?
Well, early on, I realized that Charles was going to be special because we had him in flag football for the YMCA, and he would always want to run the ball and pull the flags.
You know, you sacrificed so much of your life for both of your sons. Tell us a little bit about the most important times in your household, those Saturday nights with the ham sandwiches on the living room floor.
Well, we would have family discussions, and if there was any problems going on in the home, we would sit down and have a family-style picnic in the middle of the living room floor, and we would discuss our future and present and job and all those things. We would discuss it.
You live in Ohio, and your son has been one of the chief antagonists for the Ohio State Buckeyes in the last 4 years. Has it been difficult?
Well, there's a lot of Ohio State fans in Ohio.
You're being kind. I must say, hey, terrific and a wonderful job with your son, and you look really spectacular this evening. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Chris, Georgia Woodson.
Let's give out Heisman trophies to all 4 moms tonight. Well done, ladies. One man here can truly appreciate a big play flair. Maybe he hopes that Charles doesn't make a whole bunch of them in the Rose Bowl. The Cornhusker great, Johnny Rodgers. He celebrates his 25th Heisman anniversary. And a man who knows all about great two-way play, the golden anniversary guy, Johnny Lujack of Notre Dame. We'll visit with them, as well as the remaining 2 finalists, as the countdown on Heisman Night 97 continues from New York City.
This shot for the cup and a piece of hurling history. What must be going through that young man's head? Has he got what it takes to be a champion?
Rated T for teen. Welcome to destruction in the 31st century.
Mech Assault. For massive destruction, there's no power greater than X. Continue the destruction online with Xbox Live.
Suzuki, proud presenting sponsor of the Heisman Trophy.
During the Suzuki year-end clearance, get 0 down, 0% financing for 5 years. And now, for a limited time, you'll also get $1,000 customer cash for the best price all year on the hot new Aereo, the XL7 SUV, and every O2 model. Every Suzuki also comes with America's best warranty, making Suzuki America's best value. Hurry in before the Suzuki year-end clearance is over.
LSU, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. 2 unforgettable thrillers. One double instant classic. It all starts at 8 Eastern this Friday, only on ESPN Classic.
The 1940s were a banner decade for the school with the most Heisman winners. It started in 43 with quarterback Angelo Bertelli, finished up in 49 with a lineman Leon Hart, in between in 47, John Lujack, national champion 3 times. And was it really 25 years ago that Johnny Rodgers took home the Heisman? His return against Oklahoma in the game of the century remains a highlight in the history of college football. They won the Heisman Trophy a quarter century apart, one in the post-war era, one in the Vietnam era, and college football had changed dramatically. But what these 2 guys share in common is that close Heisman bond. Mike?
Indeed they do, and out of deference to seniority, we'll start with Johnny Lujack. Johnny, it's been 50 years since your halcyon days in college. Are you still amazed, though, that people, when they talk about your career at Notre Dame and winning the Heisman Trophy, that they still talk in reverent terms?
Well, I think it's terrific because, you know, this is a great family of Heisman people. And you can tell people that you played at Notre Dame, or someone can say that he was an All-American, and they really don't care. If they say that you were a Heisman winner, they say, a Heisman winner? Boy, that's terrific. So anyway, it was just terrific.
Johnny, had you ever heard of John Lujack prior to winning the Heisman Trophy?
Not prior to winning the Heisman Trophy.
I
know him well since.
Did your life change appreciably because of winning the award?
Well, yes, winning the Heisman has probably been the most significant award that I've ever won. It's probably my second greatest accomplishment that I've ever achieved, though. I was fortunate enough to receive my degree before my 25th year in broadcasting and advertising at the university with the help of the University of Nebraska athletic academic team, and that's really brought it together.
Yeah, and still one of the nattiest dressers I've ever seen. John, you know, with so much fanfare today about players going both ways, excelling on both sides of the football, that was routine back in the 40s and early 50s. You were selected in the pros with the Chicago Bears 1 year as an all-pro as a defensive back, another year as a running back.
Yes.
You surprised at that?
Mike, I'll tell you what was great about playing both ways. If you made a few errors on offense, you still stayed on the field. You didn't have to come to the bench to have the coach tell you what you did wrong. So that was a big plus. Eh? But really, I just thought that playing both ways was just the most natural thing in the world. I hated to sit down. And as an 18-year-old sophomore at Notre Dame, I had more playing time than I did in my junior and senior year. I averaged 45 minutes.
I'll tell you what, you guys are both terrific to be here tonight, and it's great to see you both. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mike.
Johnny Rogers and Johnny Lujack, Chris.
I think Johnny Rogers celebrating an even more important anniversary than the Heisman anniversary, married a year ago here at the club. And talking about old-time pro football, Washington State has had a pipeline to the pros in quarterbacks, but they've never had a guy who's had a season more successful than this guy. We'll hear from Ryan Leaf and his coach Mike Price when you come back to the DAC's Heisman Room.
How many times did you
What, yo, me? Where's the dip?
Only Tostitos Scoops have the bite-sized bowl-shaped design that's perfect for dipping and dunking every time.
I thought that was a myth.
So however you like to dip, there's only one Dip Lover's chip.
I own this court. Yeah. No, I really own this court. You guys got to go.
Tostitos Scoops, the Dip Lover's chip.
Minutes, hours, days, who cares? I say eat breakfast for dinner. Flip Tuesday and Wednesday. Do things on your time. It can be a little scary at first, but you know what's even scarier? Living life at the mercy of the big hand and the little hand.
Panasonic presents the next generation of DVD recorders. From the company that introduced the first DVD recorder. All your favorite programming, all your most precious memories, all recorded on a format that's both durable and shareable. For details, call today.
Networks may have schedules. I don't.
Enjoy features like Chasing Playback, which lets you play your program back from the beginning while recording to the end. Watch what you want, when you want. Record, edit, store on disc or hard drive. But first, make the call that lets you call the DVD shots.
Flexibility rules.
Right now, get 10 free recordable DVD discs, a $90 value with your Panasonic HS2. Call 1-800-535-3800 for your certificate. Become a time traveler today. Panasonic. Ideas for life.
It's a long history of West Coast quarterbacks in the Heisman Trophy. Terry Baker, the first player from the West Coast to win it back in '62. In '67, Gary Beeben became UCLA's first, and then Jim Plunkett, of course, in 1970. This year, a tremendous crop of quarterback talent in the Pac-10, maybe the deepest ever. But the guy at the top of that class was certainly Ryan Leaf, and the coach who coached him, maybe a perfect marriage of coach, program, and player. He's with Lee.
You know, I'm with Mike Price, the head football coach at Washington State. Mike, you had a special relationship with Ryan Leaf. Tell us about it.
Well, first of all, he's a special person, and I like to refer to our relationship as a partnership. And we work together, and it's worked great.
You know, Ryan played like a part quarterback, part running back, part defensive linebacker,
linebacker.
Part everything. Tell us, what was Ryan Leaf as a football player?
Well, he's tough, number one. One of the toughest players I've ever been around, tough competitor, and will get right in your face if things aren't going right. But he plays the game because it's a game, and he's when you watch him play and when you coach with him, he's just lots of fun to be around.
How important has Ryan Leaf been to the Washington State football program?
Well, tremendous. Every time he touches the ball, he made 9 yards. You know, any kind of coach could get that other yard, couldn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
But he's meant everything to the school, to every Cougar that's ever gone to school at Washington State. It's their goal to go to the Rose Bowl, and he's taken us to the Rose Bowl. We used to compare him to Drew Bledsoe. Now everybody's going to be compared to Ryan Leaf.
Mike Price, congratulations on a great year. Good luck to you in the Rose Bowl. Chris?
Lee.
Yeah, thanks. Wazoo has had 2 quarterbacks drafted #1 overall, Jack Thompson and Bledsoe, and also a #1 pick in the supplemental draft, Tim Rosenbaugh. He was Wazoo's highest Heisman finisher, 7th in '88, until Ryan Leaf. All those quarterbacks, Ryan #1 in career touchdowns after his junior season. The big guy from Big Sky Country has delivered almost from day one.
An athlete first, football player second, and quarterback third. Tough, aggressive, emotional, symbolic of his feisty Cougar compadres. As a passer, Ryan Leaf is a prototype. The height to spot receivers, the legs to escape defenders, and the strength to shed them. Plus the arm to make any throw imaginable. Wazoo's first ever sweep of the Bruins and Trojans and long shot Rose Bowl run are probably least surprising to Leaf, who's been making bold statements since the day he arrived. Behind Leaf, Wazoo smashed the Pac-10 record for yards per game. He accounted for 39 total touchdowns and set a new yardage standard in a conference rich in quarterback tradition. In the 2 wins that launched and then clinched the Cougars' Rose Bowl run, Leaf passed for 739 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Now, New Year's Day against #1 Michigan will not be the first Rose Bowl that Ryan Leaf has seen. He told me last night he went a couple of years ago, volunteered to get statistics for Keith Jackson and Bob Greasy of ABC in the booth, but it was just too painful, and he vowed that day he would never go back and watch another Rose Bowl game until he could be there as a participant. He will have a slightly more important role, not ABC runner, but Washington State passer in the next Rose Bowl game. He's with Kirk.
All right, Chris, Ryan, you guys have had obviously a Cinderella story season, going to the Rose Bowl. You just heard your coach talking about you, but you and I talking last night, I know it's with you the same way. I know you feel very special about your relationship with your coach.
Oh, I do. He is the reason I am, you know. The reason I am the quarterback that I am is because of Coach Price. He has meant so much to me, to this team. He's a player's coach, and everybody respects him. And you know, I might be his biggest recruiter out there. You know, any parents out there, if you want to send your kid to a university where your son will grow up to be a responsible, you know, young man, a winner on and off the field, then you send him to Mike Price.
I know this is an individual award, but by you just being here, representing your university, I know from talking to you, is just as important as anything.
Yeah, it is. I think it's real important that that our university gets some recognition, and you know, I'd like to bring everybody else out here, but you know, it's good that I can, you know, say hi to them back home.
I know they came up with a Fab Five for the wide receivers, but it didn't stop there. You guys try to keep everything equal out at Pullman. The offensive line, I guess, has a nickname as well?
Yeah, they're the Fat Five. that'd be Jason, Lee, Corey, and Ryan, and Rob on the end there. And the Fab Five, you know, Sean, Kev, NT, and CJ, and then don't forget the Love, and certainly the most underrated running back in the country, Michael Black.
Getting them all in there. Last thing is, you and Charles have been hanging out. It seems like the last 4 or 5 days. You guys changing Rose Bowl game plans or anything?
Well, we exchanged our jerseys and our helmets, and I think that he's gonna play quarterback, and I'm gonna play DB and see if anybody will realize what's going on.
Yeah, I think they would. Hey, good luck to you tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Chris.
You know what? They could probably pull it off, knowing those two guys. What a salesman Ryan is. He was telling me last night about his little brother Brady, who's behind me back here, a 7th grader. Same shoe size as Ryan, size 13 shoes. Coach Price, Ryan says he's a player. Ryan's stats, you got to put him in context. It's a balanced offense they had at Washington State. They had a 1,000-yard rusher in Michael Black. So keep that in mind when you check out the amazing touchdown and yardage statistics of Ryan Leaf. Now, the 71 Rose Bowl quarterback, the 1970 Heisman Trophy winner, was, as we told you, Stanford's Jim Plunkett. He won on a 1970 landslide over a guy named Joe Theismann. And third that year was another quarterback, a guy by the name of Manning. From Ole Miss, Archie ran for 6 touchdowns, threw for 14 that senior year. His Heisman run suffered when he broke his left arm late in the season, missed a couple of games, tried to play against LSU in the finale. His arm is healed up. Archie had a long NFL career, a very successful business career. But a funny thing happened. The last couple of years, he stopped being Archie Manning, football hero, and started becoming Peyton's dad. He's with Lee.
You know, Archie, you were a great football player, and all of us remember all about you, but How times have changed. How did you find out that you didn't win the Heisman?
Lee, I can't even remember. I certainly didn't come to New York, and I think somebody just called maybe the next day and said, by the way, Jim Plunkett won the Heisman. He was a very deserving winner, too.
Just like that, huh?
Yeah, I don't remember any of this fanfare going on. Nothing like what Peyton's been through.
Nothing like that.
Yeah.
Describe your feeling now and how you feel about your son and his decision to stay a senior year at Tennessee.
Well, we were proud of his decision. I wanted him to make the decision, and Olivia and I knew that he put a lot of thought into it, and whatever he did was best. I had no idea maybe the impact it was had. I've had letters and people that come up to me and say they appreciate it, and I think it did make somewhat of a statement for college football. But as Peyton said, I think he said it was really selfish on his part. He wanted to play his senior year. Lee, all our prayers were answered when he just stayed healthy through his season. I thought that would have been the bummer from the decision if he'd have gotten hurt.
Well, people have been talking about, you know, him winning this Heisman for months. It's 15 minutes away practically. How do you feel as a parent right now with your son sitting there and that decision coming up?
Well, it's just an exciting time, and we're proud of Peyton regardless. And it has been a long time, really, since that decision last year that people have been talking about it. I think he's kind of tired of it. He's ready for it to happen one way or the other. And we're going to be proud of him one way or the other.
Archie, congratulations. Back to you, Chris.
Indeed. Another reason to be proud, I'm going to embarrass him here, the first student athlete in Tennessee history to graduate in 3 years, magna cum laude in speech communication with a minor in business. But he's better known in Big Orange Country as the most decorated player in Tennessee history. We'll visit with Peyton next up on Heisman Night 1997 from the DAC in NYC.
Dave Logan is single. He goes on many dates.
What is it that you do?
I'm a lawyer.
I hate lawyers.
And he uses his Discover card. Check, please. So far, he's built up a cashback bonus award of over $160.
You're kind of boring.
Check, please.
What do you think this thing's going between us? Because you know my clock's kind of ticking.
Check, please. It's money he'll use for an engagement ring someday.
So, what do you do for a living?
Maybe someday soon.
I'm a lawyer.
Discover Card's new cashback bonus program.
Really?
Where you get paid for the things you buy anyway.
Warner Brothers Pictures presents One Sick Mobster.
Yeah! I'm going to release him into your custody.
Fine.
You have to get a job now.
What's that supposed to be a joke? Look at the size of that trunk. Could put 3 bodies in there.
Robert De Niro.
There's got to be something that you like to do.
Well, I like hitting guys over the head with a baseball bat. That's always good. Billy Crystal.
Either he's in or he's dead. I think in is better. If I had a vote, I would vote in.
And Lies That.
Hoo-ah!
Rated R. Starts Friday, December 6th.
Yeah, I have acid reflux disease. I still get a little heartburn, but it's nothing serious.
Even if you have just a little heartburn from acid reflux disease, you could have serious damage to your esophagus. What do? Call this number now or ask your doctor about a medicine that can stop the heartburn and start the healing. Don't wait to get serious about your heartburn. Call toll-free 800-263-3530.
1 second on the clock. Sampson.
How do you explain Peyton Mania if you haven't witnessed it firsthand? The mountain of fan mail, the dozens of babies born the last couple of years in Tennessee with the name Peyton, including one giraffe at the Knoxville Zoo. Not to mention the fact that March 5th is forever a state holiday in Tennessee. That's the day that Peyton Manning said he would stay for his senior year. On January 2nd against Nebraska in the Sugar Bowl, number 16 will go for win number 40 as his starting quarterback. A very rare milestone.
On dear old Rocky Top, he's less football player than folk hero, Davy Crockett in cleats, Tennessee's first All-American quarterback since 1930. From the cradle, Peyton Manning was blessed and burdened with a tough last name to live up to. Expectations seemed impossibly high, but Manning more than met them, setting 40 SEC or Tennessee records, while never letting the spotlight's constant glare blur his focus on the team's goals. It wasn't easy, but when blocks were missed or passes dropped, he maintained patience and poise beyond his years, carrying the balls with 373 yards in the SEC championship game. Opponents determined to deflate the Manning hype always came away impressed and often awed. This season's 9 300-yard passing games pushed Peyton to 3rd in all-time Division 1A yardage and 4th in touchdowns. No passer in SEC history was better at avoiding interceptions. Danny Werfel's 96 season set standards that seemed unmatchable. But in categories like yardage, completion percentage, and touchdown to interception ratio, Manning's 97 numbers were even better.
They've got high standards at Tennessee. You can't make that opulent Hall of Fame there unless you're a first-team All-American. Peyton earned his spot there this season, the first All-American quarterback at Tennessee since 1930, Bobby Dodd, who later became the great coach. Here's our coach with the Vols coach. Guys?
Yeah, I'm with Philip Fulmer, the head football coach at Tennessee. Philip, how did Peyton tell you that he was coming back for his senior year?
Lee, we had been on a recruiting trip very late at night, 1:15 in the morning. I get this wild phone call. Usually those phone calls aren't very good. You know that as a coach. This one was great. Woke me up from my dead sleep and said, "Coach, I'm staying." And I said, "Peyton, I love you." He said, "Coach, let's go win them all." And we hung up. And I told Vicki at the time, I said, "Vicki, I should have talked to him longer than that." And the next morning we pinched ourselves, is this real? And it was, and the rest is history.
Tell me about Peyton Manning as a person and a player.
Well, I think the player part of it is well documented in his numbers of wins and the championship now, and the number of touchdown passes and the ratio to interceptions and so on and so forth. But Peyton Manning as a person, you're talking about class, a first-class individual. You're talking about character. You're talking about integrity. You're talking about tremendous leadership for a program for 4 years as a freshman, and then again all the way through his senior year. You're talking about a person that has made a commitment to college football for those 4 years, and then made a tremendous commitment to the University of Tennessee in his final year, and passed on the millions of dollars in the limelight of the National Football League because he enjoyed college, and that's truly the reason that he stayed and to win a championship, and he's done both of those.
Well, Philip, good luck to you in your Orange Bowl bid to beat Nebraska. Good luck, by the way.
Thank you. We'll need
Yo.
Thank you.
Yo. Yeah, Peyton took some heat for going to Tennessee, not following Dad to Ole Miss. Hard to blame the guy for aspiring to win championships, and Peyton's coming off the first championship ever. I'm talking Pop Warner, high school or college. Looked like a lot of fun. He's back there with Kirk.
Chris, I thank you. Right now, Peyton, you look back at this, and you and I have talked about this, but you had a chance to come back for your senior year. You win the SEC championship, still a chance for the national championship. You're here tonight. Was it all worth it?
Absolutely, Kirk. I really came back to create some more memories, and I had a lot of fun playing with my teammates this year, making some more friends off the team, and the SEC championship on Saturday night was really special.
You know, through the media, we've been hearing a lot about your relationship with your dad, but I know your mom and you have a great relationship. Talk to us about that.
Well, we do. She's been great throughout all these tough decisions, whether it was deciding to come to Tennessee or deciding to stay in college. She's been unbelievably supportive of me throughout these tough times, and I'm really grateful for her.
You guys, you and your brother spent I don't know how many hours in the backyard in pads playing backyard football, and I know winning this award tonight would not only mean a great deal to you, but to your whole family.
Well, my family's been so supportive of me. My two brothers, Eli and Cooper, have been so, been there for me through all the tough times. And Cooper's my real inspiration in life. He's had some health problems these past few years, and really proud he could be here tonight.
Congratulations. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Kurt.
All right, Chris?
Well, if Manning wins, he'd become the second consecutive SEC quarterback to win a Heisman Trophy. Let's test your knowledge of trivia here. The last time, different players, same conference, same position, won Heismans in back-to-back years. You got to go back to 1954 and 55. The late Alan Amici of Wisconsin. I know technically he was a fullback. And then in 55, Ohio State's Hopalong Cassidy, a two-way legend of the Big Ten. Couple of decades before Charles Woodson was born. We'll visit with him. The announcement is looming from New York.
You know the athletes.
Anna Kournikova is sex with a tennis racket attached.
But do you know their stories?
He never shows the slightest remorse at anything he's done.
The award-winning Sports Century, 8 p.m. weeknights on ESPN Classic. What happens when football and meditation go head-to-head? You get a real classic. Movies and stories about them you've never heard.
The ball went flying up in the air. It was a perfect day.
Semi-Tough, 9 Eastern Sunday on ESPN.
I'm thankful for the beauty of the earth. What are you thankful for?
I'm grateful for life.
I'm thankful for the lessons I learned from my parents.
I'm thankful for peace in my heart.
I'm thankful for the peace I find in this book.
This book is the Holy Bible. You can have a free copy when you call this number. Its teachings will help you reflect on the life of Jesus Christ, the source of all our blessings.
I'm grateful for my friends.
I'm thankful for my father and for my son.
I'm thankful for my Heavenly Father and for His Son.
As you read the Bible, you'll better understand how much God has given us. Call this number to receive your free copy. I'm thankful for hope. Feel the hope the Holy Bible can bring to your life. Call for your free copy. It's a gift to you this Thanksgiving from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Please call.
Last night in New York, the three finalists who were here, Peyton Manning was accepting an award elsewhere, out on the town in New York City, experiencing the holiday hustle and bustle, to the Hard Rock Cafe and getting a taste of gridlock. It might be easier to win a Heisman than get a cab this time of year in New York City. Moments away from now, the Final Four. Some sweaty palms in the front row. Everybody says no. I can speak, I think, for the parents. They feel a little bit differently. Well, there were some great college football players in '97 who had excellent seasons but didn't quite have the Heisman votes to get here, including a number of junior running backs. Ricky Williams at Texas, the nation's leading ground gainer, gained also respect on the strength of 200-yard rushing games, ran with heart, even though Texas had a bad year. Ahman Green, a big part of Nebraska's perfection, 11 straight 100-yard games. And Curtis Enos, he was Penn State's offensive leader, started slowly, finished with a flourish, 8 straight 100-yard games. If any of those guys return next year, they'll be among the favorites in 1998. Now, back in 1955, there was no question the dominant running back in the country, but he was more than just a running back, a huge legend. He's with Mike Adamle.
Well, over the years, Chris, college football has given us a lot of colorful nicknames, from the Galloping Ghost, Red Grange, to the Tyler Rose, Earl Campbell. In 1955, as you mentioned, a nickname that was the scourge of the Big Ten, Ohio State's outstanding Heisman Trophy winning running back, Howard Hopalong Cassidy, who joins us now. First of all, the nickname, and you did get it from William Boyd, yes?
Yes, I did. Another Buckeye. I got his nickname, but I didn't get his money.
You know, and people forget, as you were an outstanding running back, but also a great defensive back as well. And again, the same question we asked John Lujak. The fanfare over today's player, and again, the game has changed a lot in terms of specialization, but are you surprised that people are making such a big to-do about people who go both ways and play on both sides of the football, considering that was the norm back in the 40s and 50s?
Yeah, it was great. You know, you get to play all the time. If you lose the ball, you have to get it back yourself, and it's so much more fun, to me, to play both ways. I just love defense. I really did, and we had great running backs when I played right along with me that were, you know, were as good as I was or anything, you know, and outstanding football players, and then they were great on defense, too. It's just a lot more fun, I felt then.
Hop along real quickly as we send it back to Chris. Fact or fiction, in your 4 years of Big Ten competition, nobody completed a pass over you?
I intercepted most of them.
We'll let it rest right there, Chris.
As the years go by, you get better and better. All these guys are going to find that out. When you come back to the Downtown Athletic Club, we'll have the announcement you've been waiting for, the 63rd Heisman Trophy winner, the 4 finalists, all great seasons. Only one man can leave this building with the famous statue. The announcement just minutes away now.
I've been driving all night, my hands wet on the wheel. There's a voice in my head. Here comes my favorite part! What? My favorite part!
What's more fun than a turbo? A turbo with all-wheel drive. When you get it, you get it. The rally-inspired 227-horsepower Subaru WRX.
Civilized society is based on some degree of restraint. You might disagree with much of what the gals have to say, but there are times when even the most misguided opinion is better left uncorrected. Don't you open your mouth unless it's to fill it up again with another sip of beer. Lucky for you, there's also a light way to live, the high life.
College rivalries as heated as Hatfield and McCoy. ESPN Classic's got a week of these here epic matchups. Teams that make each other so darn mad, they fight a civil war every year. Rivalry Week. The feuding starts Monday at 9 Eastern on ESPN Classic.
LSU, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. 2 unforgettable thrillers. One double instant classic. It all starts at 8 Eastern this Friday, only on ESPN Classic.
The moment is just about here. A reminder that all of these players were on teams that won conference championships and at least 10 games. Their teams have had brilliant seasons. But only one man each year can win it. We've reached the moment. The talking is about done. First, I want to have a warm thank you to the Downtown Athletic Club's Heisman Committee Chairman, Bill Blum. Thank you, sir. We are delighted at ESPN that our partnership with the DAC will continue well into the next millennium to bring you this announcement. And now the moment, the president of the Downtown Athletic Club, the man with the envelope, Peter Young. Peter.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the entire membership of the Downtown Athletic Club of New York City, its officers, its governors, the Heisman Committee, who have worked so diligently to preserve the prestige and integrity of the Heisman tradition and of this club, it is my honor to present for the 63rd time the Heisman Memorial Trophy Award, arguably the most recognized individual award in all of amateur sport, to the most outstanding collegiate football player in the United States, 1997. And the winner, from Michigan, Charles Woodson.
Of course, you better go down and say hi to Mom, huh?
Congratulations, Charles.
That's great.
Good job. Bless you. Ah.
What? I'll tell you what, this is big. First of all, I have to thank the Lord, because to receive this honor, the Heisman Trophy, the highest award given to a college football player, he's been there with me all my life, and I just thank him for this opportunity to be here, for a chance to win this award. I mean, I was sitting there in that chair and I was just thinking to myself, you know, do I really have a shot? And I kept thinking about the Rocket Ismail and the Ty Detmer year, and how everybody thought the Rocket was gonna win it, but they opened the envelope and Ty Detmer got it. Not to take anything away from Ty, but it's, like I said, a great honor to be up here. I want to thank the Downtown Athletic Club for inviting me here. Thanks to all the voters, everyone who thought I was worthy enough to win this award. I want to say thanks to my mother, the greatest lady alive, I believe. I want to say thanks to my dad for being there for me. My brother who's back there, and my friend Marcus who made it here. Thanks to everybody back at home in Fremont, Ohio, where I grew up, where it all started. Just want to say thanks to all those people. I used to always tell everybody when I was younger that I would win the Heisman Trophy. But when I started my defensive days at the University of Michigan, that dream kind of left. But you guys have brought that dream back. You gave me a chance earlier in the season, put me in the race, and allowed me the chance to be here. And put me with a great group of guys, Dorsett, Archie Griffith, Rozier, and everybody else. Just want to say thanks. This is truly the biggest moment in my life so far, and thanks a lot.
Promised captain, a little piece of history. Charles Woodson, the first prominently defensive player to win the Heisman Trophy. We'll talk to him and review the voting when we come back to New York.
Introducing Domino's Pizza Buffalo Chicken Kickers. Tender cuts of all-white chicken breast with a kick of spicy buffalo flavor baked through and through. 10 pieces for $5.99. Get the door and get a kick out of dinner tonight. Get an order of Cinesticks free when you buy a large one-topping pizza for $9.99.
Looking for Harry Potter magic? Coca-Cola's got it. With collectible Quidditch game cards in every specially marked multi-pack featuring your favorite characters from the film. Find the golden snitch and you could get movie cash. Or you might even win a trip to London to improve your Quidditch skills. With the magic of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Come on. Who is this clown?
ATV Off-Road Fury 2, now played online. Rated E for everyone.
For the extra point and the win.
Snow.
All right.
Blizzard.
All right.
Gonna choke? Oh, I guess not.
Sunday NFL Countdown, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
What happens when football and meditation go head-to-head? You get a real classic. Movies and stories about them you've never heard.
The ball went flying up in the air. It was a perfect day.
Semi-Tough, 9 Eastern Sunday on ESPN Classic.
5 seconds to go. Mathis with a hook shot, scores with 2.
Your 63rd Heisman Trophy winner is Charles Woodson of Michigan. Here is the final balloting. Peyton Manning, the 4th player from Tennessee to be runner-up. Ryan Leaf 3rd, Randy Moss 4th. Charles carrying 5 of the 6 regions. My friend, when did you start dreaming that this was possible? Was it the Penn State game when folks started to take notice of you as an offensive player as well as a corner?
Well, really not until the Ohio State game when the people started really saying that I was closing the margin on Peyton Manning. And that was really when I started thinking that, hey, I might have a shot at it.
And when you returned that punt against the Buckeyes, you told me afterward you wanted to strike the pose, but you were too tired and your teammates got there too quick. You want to strike the pose now?
Oh, I love to strike the pose for the people out there now. Yeah.
Let's see the pose. You ready? You got it. Are you sure you haven't practiced that?
No, I haven't practiced.
I think somewhere there are defensive players out there who are saying, about time. Let's take a look at the regional breakdown. Regional factors perhaps not quite as important this year as in other years. In the Northeast region, Charles winning with a margin of 314 points to Peyton Manning's 273. Ryan Leaf doing pretty well out of his region. In the Mid-Atlantic, a little bit closer, 305 to 240 is the margin there. In the Midwest, of course, Charles Woodson's home region, and the voters going with him in a strong manner there, 355 to 218. In the South, Peyton Manning does carry that region, as Danny Werfel did last year, but not enough. In the Southwest, another region for Charles Woodson with 339 points. And in the Far West, Charles Woodson over Ryan Leaf, the quarterback of Washington State, coming up second place right there. You carrying the flag for defensive players? You know you're starting a trend right now. Every guy in America is going to want to play corner, they want to play receiver and return punts and get right here where you are.
Well, I think it opens up doors, but I mean, for me, I play defense and offense, but if I played just defense, I probably wouldn't really have a shot at it. But like I said, it's truly a great honor. I'm glad to be here and happy to be a 1997 Heisman Trophy winner.
Move over Tom Harmon and Desmond Howard. There's now a 3rd Michigan man in the Heisman Trophy Club. Congratulations once again to Charles Woodson and all 4 of your 97 Heisman finalists. Happy holidays and good evening from New York City.
Century, 8 p.m. weeknights on ESPN Classic.
Hi, I'm Mike Gleason, and welcome as ESPN Classic presents the 1983 SEC Showdown between the 8-0-1 Georgia Bulldogs and the 8-1 Auburn Tigers. In 1980, the Bulldogs won the national championship. From 1980 to 1982, Vince Dooley's teams went 33-3 behind the running of Heisman Trophy winner Herschel Walker. But number 34 opted for a career in the pros after his junior season, leaving Georgia with a tremendous void. With more on the 1983 Bulldogs, here's Daryl Patterson with a Vintage Sports Center report.
The Georgia Bulldogs won the Southeastern Conference title last year and in 1980 and tied Alabama for the crown in 81. In each of those 3 seasons, the Dogs were led by a young man who wore jersey number 34. Herschel Walker decided